All right, gentlemen, you've been over the rules. Protect yourself at all times. Follow my instructions. We're gonna have a clean fight. Let's touch gloves and do this.
I do this. Goosebumps. Literal goosebumps.
Max Holloway, Charles Oliveira sharing the Octagon. The BMF belt is on the line. Great crowd on hand as usual.
So here's something that's been eating at fight fans everywhere. What was it actually like to be right there in that exact moment? To feel every ounce of that crushing pressure, that raw electric energy coursing through your veins as you stand across from your destiny while millions watch your every move? What did it really feel like for these warriors locked inside that cage? To walk directly into that blazing arena of combat, that burning need to know, that relentless hunger for answers, is exactly what's driving all the massive excitement and buzz building around this legendary battle.
Na realidade, eu perdi o movimento do lado esquerdo inteiro.
Yeah, it really wasn't exactly that. You know, I lost movement on my left side in the fight. And I think a lot of people didn't know what I explained what it was. So they talked about the esophagus and all of that. But, you know, the reality of it was an injury to my neck. There were talks that I could have been paralyzed because of that. But the reality of it is that I lost movement on my left side. You know, it was no joke. You know, I was told that in the ambulance, the guys were trying to put an IV in my arm and I wouldn't even feel it because I just couldn't feel my left side. So I was scared that my career was over at that moment.
Se ele me chamar no começo do round, no meio do round, não importa, eu vou estar lá. É como eu acabei de falar, é por isso que eu mato as pessoas do coração. Eu não fujo da luta, eu procuro a luta. Eu caço o tempo inteiro. Pra mim não faz diferença nenhuma.
How does Max versus Charles go? I'll go Oliveira, chat. Who else is very impressed with his takedown entries that he's added to his game? Even when he went for it on Ilya and went for the 50-50 throw, I was like, oh my god, dude, he's strong in this double under position. He's never been like that before. He always used to shoot in and try and get the back from it and fail to take down. Like, he was never picking up Gaethje and dunking him or getting his hands behind the arse of Poirier and getting his hands connected and dunking him down. It was very throw and trip oriented, but he's now like getting in on the hips, hands connected, picking up Gamrot like that, even though Gamrot balanced and stayed in a good position and then eventually gave up his back anyway. His entries are a lot better, so I think he would get down Max in 7.
When you're looking at two of the most lethal, absolutely ruthless finishers in all of MMA's savage history, one thing becomes crystal clear right away. There's absolutely no room for cautious exchanges or tentative feeling out periods. Throw any thoughts of gradual escalation right out the window. This battle is nothing like that, not even remotely. What you're about to witness instead is complete and total chaos, an explosive eruption of violence from the opening seconds of the very first round. Max Holloway versus Charles Oliveira, ladies and gentlemen, transcends your typical fight booking. This represents a primal collision of legends, an authentic battle where lightning-quick reflexes and unmatched technique collide head-on with raw danger and desperation, where literally every moment matters. Imagine this scenario. One fighter who completely suffocates his opponents, delivering a brutal, never-ending assault of strikes until you're literally gasping for air, unable to think, unable to move, unable to find an escape. Meanwhile, on the opposite side stands a warrior who requires just one fleeting instant, genuinely one heartbeat to grab your throat, secure a fight-ending hold, or drop you stone cold with something that comes from nowhere. In this type of war, there's no safe haven to regroup. Zero safe territory anywhere inside that octagon, and absolutely no room for mistakes. This is maximum stakes, winner-take-all warfare that will keep you glued to your seat. Now let's dive in and examine exactly what the entire fighting world is saying about this earth-shaking, unmissable spectacle.
Foge, Elvis, foge. Boa! Cara, o Charles, ele sempre levantou a bandeira do jiu-jitsu brasileiro, né, do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Isso eu acho que é muito legal, porque tem muitos lutadores que até competiram mais que ele no jiu-jitsu esportivo, mas não levantam a bandeira tanto quanto ele. E ele é o cara que tem o jiu-jitsu nele, ele é o cara que ele não faz jiu-jitsu, ele é jiu-jitsu.
While the heat within the MMA community keeps building, reaching a fever pitch with passionate forecasts for the monumental Max vs. Charles Oliveira clash, it's important to note that the real warfare, the truly decisive moments that determine these contests, might actually be happening deep behind closed doors, far from the blazing lights and thunderous cheers. Max Holloway isn't just going through routine preparation and training sessions. He's not simply putting in work. He is completely obsessed, utterly consumed with the complex, nearly invisible choreography of timing, positioning, and range. He's painstakingly perfecting those barely noticeable microscopic elements, the type of refined subtleties that eventually distinguish the elite competitors from the absolute legends when everything is on the line. Consider this reality where Charles Oliveira dominates and flourishes in complete unpredictable madness, capitalizing on every tiny slip-up, every microscopic mistake with deadly accuracy. Max is carefully perfecting the science of flawless timing and complete overwhelming dominance. He's analyzing those pivotal instances, exactly when to engage, when to unleash devastating pressure, and precisely when to trap an opponent in a spot where, believe me, there is zero possibility of freedom. When a battle evolves into this ultimate examination of will, a tactical war of precision versus pure dangerous chaos, Holloway's fanatical focus on every minute component might just be the deciding factor. It could be what enables him to not just survive and endure Oliveira's famous onslaught, but to actually overwhelm him with a continuous devastating wave of speed and relentless accuracy.
Bro, go away. You're fucking ugly. Shut up. That was so ugly you even agree with this.
No, I'm trying to.
Bro, you literally went around the corner and were talking. Shut up, no. You literally went around the corner and you were talking. I seen you guys.
No, we were. No,
bro, I seen your ass go over there.
No, because he
and then I seen him go, hey, he says a rap.
No.
Shut up, no. Because you would have told me a long time ago.
He was
only
like, yo,
say something right now. Bro, these guys are just too much. Hey, don't ever listen to what Max has to say. Especially this guy.
Tattoo?
Any Chinese out there, you guys know what this means. It means strong.
No, I don't think it does.
Bro, I don't think you're real Chinese, bro. Get out of here.
I don't think it means.
Bro, you're not even Chinese. Get out of here. Just because you look Indian doesn't mean you're look it up right now.
Absolutely, there's a real tangible admiration existing between these two giants of MMA, a shared acknowledgement of talent and achievement. But don't you even think about confusing that with weakness? The intensity, the pure competitive fire, burns just as fierce, maybe even stronger. Max Holloway, always the sharp and strategic thinker, truly views Oliveira as the complete definition of a well-rounded warrior, a threatening, total package. He recognizes a fighter who can seriously hurt you with his hands, then flawlessly shift to forcing you into desperate defense on the mat, and ultimately destroy you mercilessly the instant you display even the tiniest weakness. This isn't about tricks or some fortunate one-time finish. This is about genuine undeniable depth, natural ability, and a complete mastery of every aspect of fighting. Nevertheless, and this is totally crucial to grasping Max's approach, that tremendous respect will absolutely not, and I stress, will absolutely not change his objective. Max Holloway plans to stay razor sharp, to deliver crushing, overwhelming pressure from the opening bell, and to drag Oliveira into a style of battle where his own famous speed, perfect timing, and steady composure will be the only factors determining the result. And through that punishing journey, he aims to demonstrate once more precisely why he is, beyond any question, absolutely built for war, forged in the very heart of combat.
Oliveira, he's just a killer, you know. I think that, you know, before everybody knows jiu-jitsu even right now, but his striking came a long way. And if you see most of his finishes, a lot of the times it's not Hail Mary submissions that he's finishing people. He's hurting them on the feet, blocking them, and then getting a submission. So at the end of the day, he's a real mixed martial artist. You know, I saw an interview that he said, you know, the first time we fought, he was jiu-jitsu Oliveira, now he's an MMA Oliveira. I respect that. I agree with that. Come March 7th, though, we get to see, you know, we find out everything, you know. Oliveira is Oliveira, man. He's dangerous everywhere. Like I said, striking, dangerous. His jiu-jitsu game, no question about it. I just need to be smart. I need to fight my game plan. I need to go in there, you know, do what I got to do to get my hand raised, and that's what I plan on doing. I plan on going in there, getting in his face. You know, we're on Paramount now. A lot of people are tuning into to these number cards. A lot of viewership is around, so.
I'm planning to create new fans come fight night. What a remarkable, bold declaration of purpose and belief from Max. And if Max Holloway, a competitor celebrated for his striking, recognizes Charles Oliveira as a complete martial artist, then you know that a genuine legend of grappling. Someone like Demian Maia discovers something even more profound, something almost mystical in Oliveira's skills. When Demian Maia, a complete master of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, discusses Charles Oliveira, it's never just polite compliments or basic respect. It's a deep acknowledgement of incredible expertise, a salute from one craftsman to another. In Maia's trained perspective, Oliveira doesn't just train Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, he lives it. He captures the pure spirit and core philosophy of the discipline each and every time he enters that octagon and fights. Consider this for a second, the fluid, practically seamless transitions from stand-up to ground fighting. The hunter-like instincts that drive his every decision, the way he moves smoothly from dealing punishment standing up to securing a submission without even a moment's pause. It genuinely appears less like memorized moves and more like a natural, almost frightening instinct, an integral part of his core essence. To describe him as a master of the craft, as Demian Maia does, only confirms the basic reality of what makes Oliveira so unbelievably lethal. His ground game isn't just a weapon in his collection, it's not just a strategy he can deploy when convenient. No, his grappling represents his true self. It's his core identity, permanently embedded in his fighting spirit, a natural phenomenon.
Foge, Elvis, foge, Elvis, foge. Boa! Cara, o Charles, ele sempre levantou a bandeira do jiu-jitsu brasileiro, né, do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Isso eu acho que é muito legal, porque tem muitos lutadores que até competiram mais que ele no jiu-jitsu esportivo, mas não levantam a bandeira tanto quanto ele. E ele é o cara que tem o jiu-jitsu nele, ele é o cara que ele não faz jiu-jitsu, ele é jiu-jitsu.
Now, from the opposite perspective of this legendary conversation, you have the iconic game-bred himself, Jorge Masvidal, and he completely respects Max Holloway with tremendous admiration. Masvidal views Max as undoubtedly one of MMA's finest, a once-in-a-generation fighter who repeatedly delivers that crushing, overwhelming pressure, that constant energy each and every time he enters the cage. But here's where Masvidal gets that sly grin, that understanding smile. He completely dismisses anyone who has the nerve to claim that the BMF belt was ever for one moment, a marketing stunt, or a simple accessory. For Jorge, competing for that BMF title isn't just entertainment or a fun distraction. It proves that you are at the very top of the sport, battling with the absolute elite of the elite, a real proof of your heart and ability. He understands, without any doubt, that whether it was him or Nate Diaz meeting Max for that title, it would never have been a simple evening for anyone participating, regardless. For Masvidal, this whole event, this major pairing is entirely about the fight itself. A real brutal collision of approaches, a true examination of striking ability, and importantly, a chance for these warriors to control the rhythm and story of the battle while simultaneously respecting the intense raw tradition of the BMF championship. For Jorge, this isn't just another bout, this is exactly the type of high-stakes, constant, explosive violence that dedicated fans like us completely hunger for and demand.
Listen, Max Holloway said this on his YouTube channel. The BMF belt to me personally represents just a bad mother effer. You know, blessed man forever. Only very few get the fight for this belt. The belt was a laughingstock before. All of a sudden I got it and everyone wants to fight for it now. It's hilarious. It's fun to me. What do you make of that? Him saying that it was a laughingstock before, because not many people held that belt. You were the one that put it on the map.
I mean, I love Max as a fighter. That's his opinion. That's his opinion. You know, I think he's one of the best fighters to do it. He's a dog when he goes in there. But whether it had been me or Nate fighting Max, it wasn't gonna be like his best night either, I think, you know. So I don't think how in laughingstock in what way, because the skill level is obviously there, you know. I mean, I would love to fight Max just on a stylistic.
While Masvidal definitely recognizes the immediate direct importance of this massive encounter, the American gangster himself, Chael Sonnen, goes much further, analyzing why this battle matters so deeply beyond just the obvious excitement. Sonnen smartly notes that Oliveira didn't just casually challenge Holloway, he stated it crystal clear with obvious purpose that he was targeting the BMF belt, and that difference, my friends, is totally vital in the complex world of MMA. As Sonnen expertly breaks down, in mixed martial arts, a huge name fight with two legends doesn't automatically guarantee a title is at stake. He references other major bouts like Covington versus Masvidal, where a huge Vegas headliner, despite all its publicity, didn't promise a championship around anyone's waist. For an extremely clever, tactical competitor like Oliveira, making a strong claim to the BMF title isn't just a wise decision or a decent idea, it's completely necessary to increase the importance and weight of the fight, transforming it into something genuinely memorable. And now, with Max Holloway himself stating that the belt is definitely at stake, there's zero doubt remaining. This battle is a savage, thrilling war for complete dominance, a clear proclamation of who really is the baddest fighter in the sport.
Oliveira versus Max, guys, I think we're at that point, right? Like, I think we can come out and announce this. Now, I'm assuming that you know, Charles Oliveira, when he gets done on Saturday, he calls out Max and he asks him to put up the belt. By the way, which is an important distinction to make. Colby Covington fought George Masvidal. It was personal, it was Vegas, it was main event, George was champion. We, Team Colby, assumed it was for the belt. We win the fight, we don't get the belt. I mean, I'm just sharing for you. It is important for a smart veteran like Charles to make the distinction and call for the belt. It's important when Max responds that we're all clear that it's for the belt.
Sonnen also expertly reveals an interesting, almost contradictory element to this whole scenario that brings yet another dimension of fascination. Usually, in the ruthless ranked world of fighting, it's the current champions who find themselves being targeted, the ones being pursued by ambitious rising challengers, not the reverse. But in this case, we have Charles Oliveira, a former title holder himself, personally starting this major confrontation with another icon, and that, my friends, creates another tremendously engaging dimension of mystery and excitement to this already electrifying contest. Thinking back on his own extensive personal connection with Max Holloway, having witnessed him evolve from those initial unpolished days in his UFC journey to become a pound-for-pound champion, Sonnen celebrates Max not just as an elite generational competitor, but also as a truly decent, honorable individual beyond the fighting arena. And in getting familiar with Charles Oliveira, Sonnen recognizes that same incredible combination of both talent and character, making the quiet underlying tension and competitive drive between these two fighters all the more captivating to witness. We're discussing two extremely respected, highly talented athletes, both widely praised, not just for their abilities inside the cage, but for their honor and professionalism outside of it. Yet somehow an undeniable edge exists between them, a quiet competitive flame that only amplifies the pure scale and thrill of this showdown.
Champions get called out. They don't do the calling. Now that makes me very curious. What's up with these two guys? I've known Max for his entire career. In fact, fought on a card with Max, and it was either his debut or it was his second ever fight. So when I tell you I knew him, that's the day I met him. So when I tell you I knew him his entire UFC career, this is a literal statement. He's awesome. I think you guys know that. I mean, he's a wonderful guy, is my point. They're not all. You get disappointed plenty of times. Max is a wonderful guy. But you guys know that. I'm just getting to know Charles on a personal level. He came over here, did an interview that we brought to you. He's a wonderful guy. They're not all. So when you have two baby faces, when you have two good guys, two wonderful guys. When do you get to call a guy wonderful, by the way? I don't know if I've ever done. You got two wonderful guys. Why do they not get along? What is their problem with each other? What really happened between these two? And that has not come out.
Now from the other end of the incredibly competitive lightweight division, a determined contender named Arman Tsarukyan definitely isn't someone to quietly wait on the sidelines for chances to magically fall into his lap. No way, that's not how he operates. He's already completely locked onto his next major career-changing opportunity with surgical precision, with the current champion Islam Makhachev apparently only competing once annually. Arman obviously doesn't have the patience or the time to just hang around doing nothing, waiting for circumstances to develop. He has clearly expressed his ambition, declaring his goals openly. He wants whoever emerges victorious from this huge Oliveira versus Holloway war, and he wants them for the BMF championship. For Tsarukyan, that title isn't just a symbolic trophy or a flashy decoration. It means a perfect opportunity, a crucial moment to jump straight into the blazing spotlight, send an undeniable message, and conclusively show to everyone that he is not just prepared, but completely equipped to battle with the absolute best of the best, and he wants it immediately. You can literally sense the ambition pouring from him, the focused determination in his stare. He's not waiting for anyone to give him opportunities. He's going to march out there and claim it through sheer will and resolve.
But you know what the weird thing is? What if Ilya comes back in the summertime, right? And now you've got an interim champion, and usually the interim champion will fight the actual champion. You're neither of those. That means we're talking about another fight happening, and you're not fighting for the belt, and now we're talking about the back end of the year.
Yeah, but maybe BMF title.
Okay.
So we'll see.
You don't want that, right? You want the real title.
Yeah, I want a real title, but I don't want to wait until the end of the next year. And then Ilya, he fights once a year. Maybe he defend his title in June and then say, okay, I'll fight next year in June. And then what I can do, just stay. And I'm not that young to wait a lot too. So if they give me BMF title, it would be great too. If Charles Oliveira wins, so it's gonna be good. We got the story, and just get that belt, and then the real belt.
An absolute MMA expert, a real student of the fight business, is completely energized and electric with anticipation about this Oliveira versus Holloway battle, sincerely calling it nothing less than a spectacular must-see encounter that guarantees explosions. But, and here's the twist, he's nowhere near convinced about how this amazing fight was actually presented to fans, showing some real disappointment. He believed that the cryptic empty chair concept, which originally teased a huge dramatic announcement, sadly underwhelmed and missed its target. The choice to preview the news with different highlight packages before the actual reveal, in his professional view, sadly ruined much of the shock and the impact for many mainstream viewers watching, reducing the effect. And let's remember the minor yet obvious mistakes, like the clear missing of name placards on the seats, which only added to his total irritation and sense of a flawed execution. Despite his sharp complaints about what he saw as the UFC's somewhat careless and messy announcement, he stays completely certain about one core fact that trumps everything else. Regardless of how it was revealed, regardless of the presentation mistakes, this fight, my friends, is definitely guaranteed to deliver some serious, undeniable excitement to the Octagon.
Well, and that's Oliveira versus Holloway. I nearly said that's Holloway. But that's Oliveira versus Holloway, which is a sick fight. I reckon Oliveira is going to win that one. I love the fight announcement of that. I love the way they did it. 2 empty seats on the stage, but why announce it in a promo before? I knew it was coming. I was like, oh, that's the empty seats. They're going to do Oliveira Holloway. Let me wonder, what are they going to announce? I kind of would have known, but don't show the casual fans the fucking promo piece. Highlight reels of them both, and now official Oliveira Holloway, and they're showing it on the camera on the stage, on the projector to everyone at home, to everyone in the weigh-ins, and then trying to have this mystique over who the empty chairs are for, you idiots. They even left their little name things off of the chairs, where normally it would say who they were. Is there no brain behind the scenes at the UFC? I'm going off on this again. Is there no one with a brain?
Behind the scenes. Then we got the always vocal MMA commentator, Chael, who offered his very direct, honest opinion on the much-awaited battle between Max Holloway and Charles Oliveira. He freely confesses that when Max initially challenged Charles and that challenge was firmly accepted, he wasn't particularly excited, being totally transparent, and found himself genuinely puzzled. Chael would have much rather seen Oliveira go against someone like Michael Chandler, or maybe even Bobby Green, fights he truly felt would have matched Charles's approach and abilities more effectively, possibly providing a smoother route. But regarding the stand-up game, Chael holds nothing back at all. His evaluation is direct and completely transparent. Max Holloway, in his professional view, is just performing on a completely different plane, a level beyond most competitors. From his lightning pace and smooth sequences to his expert capability to blend high and low attacks and even incorporate those surprise devastating spinning techniques, Holloway, according to Chael, completely rules in that area. It's not even debatable. He strongly feels that Oliveira, despite his amazing complete skill package and lethal groundwork, is just overmatched in the straight striking battle. And here's the important point, the difference maker. This is particularly evident now that Max has made the huge transition to the 155-pound weight class, where let me tell you, his already impressive power has only gotten better and become even more threatening.
When Max called out Charles and Charles reciprocated, I didn't want it. I didn't want him to fight Max Holloway. I didn't want it. I thought Michael Chandler 3 would have been a much better contest. I think Bobby Green would have been a great fight for Charles. I didn't want to fight Max Holloway. Max Holloway, it's not close on the feet. Out at range, it's not close. It's not. It's not. Max is on a different level. The speed, the combinations, the way he can mix up strikes to the head and to the body, the jump spinning back kicks. It is lighter man skill all the way. It is. I do not favor Charles Oliveira in the slightest when it comes to striking at range. And Max Holloway, ever since he's moved up to 155, he's better than he's ever been before. He's better than he's ever been before.
And that enhanced power, that expanded danger, has definitely resulted in a new, even more lethal Max Holloway, a competitor seemingly at his absolute prime. Chael continues to emphasize just how dramatically Holloway's move to the 155-pound division has amplified his already serious threat to the complete division. At 145, Max's power, while certainly there and successful, wasn't quite as obvious, but now he's evolved into an even stronger, more intimidating challenge for any competitor, including a talent like Islam Makhachev. Chael carefully explains how Holloway's accurate clinical counters, his flawless range management that leaves opponents confused, and his constant never-ending pace work together to make him a completely frightening matchup for anyone in the weight class. Now don't misunderstand, Chael isn't claiming Oliveira has no shot. He recognizes that Charles can definitely take this fight. He has the weapons, but here's the condition. The major, however. When Max Holloway is in his complete flow, when he's firing those amazing combinations of strikes and continuously switching up his offense with such perfect smoothness, it becomes totally obvious to any experienced observer. He's not just competing, he's performing on an entirely different, almost otherworldly plane of excellence. For Chael, this clear striking advantage from Max is exactly why the battle promises to be a high-pressure, nail-biting war, the type that keeps you on the edge from beginning to end.
Extremely well. His power has never been as significant down at 145. In fact, I would even go out on a limb and say that he is a much tougher fight for Ilia Topuria up at 55 than he was down at 145. I mean, you look at the amount of times that he landed on Ilia Topuria in that fight with distance management, with counters, and then you compare that to the amount of pop he has up at 155. It is terrifying, and I'm afraid. I'll admit it, I am. I'm scared. Listen, it's not to say that Charles doesn't have a chance. In fact, I think he can win. I know he can win. I know he can. But you just look at when Max Holloway had Dustin Poirier hurt up against the fence, and you just look at this sequence, man. He throws like 30 punches in 3 seconds. I don't even think I captured every single individual screenshot of punches, but look at how he's just mixing it up here. He's a different level on the feet. The speed, the combinations, he's a different level.
So after all that amazing breakdown, all those perspectives from the experts, all the examination of abilities and game plans, the ultimate question stands: who do you believe will finally emerge victorious in this completely epic, potentially legendary showdown? Are you firmly backing Team Holloway, trusting his striking and aggression will prove overwhelming? Or are you supporting Dobronx Oliveira, counting on his famous grappling and finishing ability? We definitely want to see every hot opinion, every confident forecast, and every crazy prediction you want to offer. Be sure to share your thoughts, your selections, and your logic down in the comments section immediately. Let everyone hear what you think. And listen, if you haven't already become part of our amazing family of fight enthusiasts, do yourself a huge favor and hit that subscribe button for constant updates, professional breakdowns that you can't find anywhere else, and all the special insider content, building up to what is without question a truly essential, can't miss battle. Don't get shut out of the discussion.